Welcome back to The Paper Pursuer. There's 2 more articles for show notes 1191. I'm going to get started on them now. I'm going to talk about coronavirus. So this article is on statnews.com, titled New Data from China, Buttress Fears About High Coronavirus Fatality Rate, Who Expert Says, by Helen Branswell, February 25th, 2020. One of the hopes of people watching China's coronavirus outbreak was that the alarming picture of its lethality is probably exaggerated because a lot of mild cases are likely being missed. But on Tuesday, World Health Organization experts suggested that does not appear to be the case. Bruce Aylward, who led an international mission to China to learn about the virus and China's response, said the specialists did not see evidence that a large number of mild cases of the novel disease called COVID-19 are evading detection. So I know everybody's been out there saying, whoa, this thing is spreading everywhere and we just can't see it. Tip of the iceberg. But the data that we do have don't support that, Aylward said during a briefing for journalists at WHO's Geneva headquarters. Getting a handle on how many people have actually been infected is crucial to assess how dangerous this virus is. Yeah, good luck. With China most likely suppressing numbers. Okay, back to the article. During the days of an explosive outbreak with a new pathogen, it is hugely challenging to look beyond the people streaming into hospitals for care to see whether there are many more at home with a mild cold or manageable flu-like illness. If large numbers of mild or virtually symptom-free cases are evading detection, that would suggest that estimates of the proportion of people who might end up in ICUs or might die during a COVID-19 epidemic would be lower than what has been seen to date in China. But if there aren't large numbers of uncounted cases, the severity seen in China is what the rest of the world should expect as the virus moves to new locations, especially if it spreads to the degree seen in Hubei province where the outbreak began. What the data support is that, sure, there may be a few asymptomatic cases, but there's probably not a huge transmission beyond what you can see clinically, Aylward said. The claim was quickly challenged by an infectious diseases expert who serves on a committee that advises the WHO's Health Emergencies Program. Gary Kobinger, director of the Infectious Disease Research Center at Laval University in Quebec, said it would be highly unusual for there not to be mild or symptom-free cases that are being missed. He pointed to the fact that outbreaks have popped up in countries far from China, including Iran and Italy, because people with mild infections were not detected and traveled to other places. There are mild cases that are undetected. This is why it's spreading. Otherwise, it would not be spreading because we would know where those cases are and they would be contained, and that would be the end of it, said Kobinger, who insisted that mild, undetected infections cannot be ruled out until people who haven't been diagnosed with the illness can be tested for antibodies to the virus. Those kinds of tests, called serology tests, are just becoming available in China, Aylward said. As long as we do not have good serology data, I think that it is completely speculative to say there are no undetected cases, Kobinger said. Aylward pointed to an analysis from Guangdong province suggesting that, at least there, most of the infections were coming to the attention of health authorities. When the virus started to spread in Guangdong, the province where the 2002 to 2003 SARS outbreak began, worried people flooded fever clinics to be tested. Of 320,000 tests performed, just under 0.5% were positive for the virus at the peak of transmission there, he said, which suggests that only one case out of 200 was being missed. Transmission of the virus has subsided in Guangdong, and the number of positive tests at the fever clinics has declined. Now only about 1 in 5,000 people tested at the fever clinics is positive for the virus, he said. Aylward said that across China, about 80% of cases are mild, about 14% are severe, and about 6% become critically ill. The case fatality rate, the percentage of known infected people who die, is between 2% and 4% in Hubei province and 0.7% in other parts of China, he said. Oops. The lower rate outside of Hubei is likely due to the draconian social distancing measures China has put in place to try to slow the spread of the virus. Other parts of China have not had the huge explosion of cases seen in Hubei, Aylward said. A case fatality rate between 2 to 4% rivals and even exceeds that of the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic, which is estimated to have killed upwards of 50 million people. Even a case fatality rate of 0.7%, which means 7 out of every 1,000 infected people would die, is sobering. It is 7 times the fatality rate for seasonal flu, which is estimated to kill between 290,000 and 650,000 people a year globally. All right, there's one more article, and it's another on coronavirus. This is from the Boston Herald, titled Cambridge-based Moderna sends possible coronavirus vaccine for testing. Vaccine mRNA 1273 sample shipped to National Institutes of Health. A Cambridge company has submitted a potential coronavirus vaccine for federal testing just 2 months after an outbreak of the infectious virus that started in China, killing 2,500 people while spreading rapidly through Asia into Europe and the United States. Cambridge tested Moderna scientists began collaborating with the National Institutes of Health a month ago to develop a vaccine for the highly contagious virus, with funding received from the International Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations. Moderna announced Monday it has sent the vaccine to the NIH. I want to thank the entire Moderna team for their extraordinary effort in responding to this global health emergency with record speed, Juan Andreas, Chief Technical Operations and Quality Officer at Moderna, said in a statement. The collaboration across Moderna with NIAID and with CEPI has allowed us to deliver a clinical batch in 42 days from sequence identification. The vaccine, which Moderna calls mRNA 1273, has shipped to the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases to be used in their planned study in the U.S., the company said. 2 weeks earlier, Moderna announced that the clinical batch of mRNA 1273 was complete and undergoing analytical testing. Andreas said that the development of the vaccine would not have been possible without the company's Norwood manufacturing site, which uses leading-edge technology to enable flexible operations and ensure high-quality standards are met for clinical-grade material. After Moderna's announcement late Monday, MarketWatch reported that the company's stock jumped over 15%. However, the company noted in its statement that there has never been a commercial product approved for use with mRNA technology, which they use to develop the vaccine. The virus outbreak is believed to have started in late December in Wuhan, China. Earlier this month, a UMass Boston student returning to school from Wuhan became the first confirmed case of the deadly virus in Massachusetts. He is one of at least 53 cases of the disease in the United States. Nancy Messonnier of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases said Tuesday there is still no vaccine and that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention expects to see the virus spread in the U.S. Representative Mike Rogers, Republican Alabama, called on Congress Tuesday to pass funding for the coronavirus response without trying to jam in any partisan riders. That'd be nice for a change. Get rid of that pork. This current version of coronavirus, COVID-19, represents a potential health and economic threat to our homeland, Rogers said. I urge passage of a clean supplemental without any extraneous provisions. We cannot play politics with the health and safety of Americans. We'll see how that turns out. All right, so that's it for 1191 show notes, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.